So today we're going to decode the political playbook of India's ruling party. And this isn't just about winning one election. We're talking about a blueprint for long-term political dominance.
It really all boils down to this one massive question. How do you even begin to strategize for a win in the world's largest democracy? This isn't about a single victory. It's about a grand strategy for sustained power. So let's break down how they're building it, piece by piece.
And what we're seeing is that this isn't random at all. A really clear blueprint is starting to emerge. We're about to unpack a very deliberate, two-pronged strategy that's being revealed through recent political moves and public statements.
And look, this isn't just some academic exercise or a look back at political history. This is a live look at the kind of strategic thinking that's shaping India's future right now. Honestly, understanding this playbook is absolutely crucial if you want to understand what's coming in the next major elections.
All right, let's jump into the first pillar of this grand strategy. It all starts with a very, very specific focus on key communities. Now, take a look at this quote from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The language here is so important. He's framing this outreach not just as a policy, but as something core to the national identity itself. By saying these communities are an integral part of India's consciousness, well, that's some powerful language, right? And this slide just lays out the one-two punch perfectly. On one hand, you've got the pledge, a straight-up promise of more welfare for tribal communities. You know, things like direct benefits, local development. But then you flip it over and you get the accusation. At the exact same time, the opposition gets accused of neglecting these communities for years. It's a classic political move, really. You make a promise, and in the same breath, you paint a sharp, clear contrast with your rivals. It's not just about what you're going to do, it's about what they didn't do.
So let's boil Pillar 1 down to its essentials. It's really a three-part play. First, you have targeted outreach to a very specific group of voters. Second, you put a heavy emphasis on tangible welfare promises. And third, you use sharp political positioning to frame the opposition as ineffective. It's a really focused and potent combination.
Okay, so that's Pillar 1, but that's only half the story. Pillar 2 is where this whole thing gets scaled up in a huge way. This is where we see a plan to take that success and run with it.
And you know, the thing about this second pillar is that it wasn't just cooked up in a lab. It was forged in the fire of a real election. After the ruling NDA coalition scored a major victory in the state of Bihar, the leadership didn't just pop the champagne. Nope, they immediately started to figure out why they won, so they could build a roadmap for the future.
And here you can see that blueprint in action. It's a pretty straightforward three-step process. Step 1, you go out and secure a big victory in Bihar. Check. Step 2, you analyze that win. You figure out what the secret sauce was, the messaging, the voter coalitions, everything that worked. And then, Step 3, you plan to replicate that exact same model in an even bigger, more critical state like Uttar Pradesh. See? This isn't about hoping for the best, it's about engineering a victory.
And there's actually a name for what we're talking about here. It's called strategic replication. It's basically the political practice of taking a winning formula from one place and methodically applying it somewhere else. It's all about turning a one-time win into a repeatable, scalable process.
Okay, so we've looked at the two pieces of the puzzle separately. Now, let's zoom out, put them together, and really see the full architecture of this political strategy.
And this really breaks it all down nice and simple. You've got Pillar 1, outreach, which is all about locking in those key groups of voters with targeted promises. Then you have Pillar 2, replication, which is about taking that proven winning formula and basically hitting copy-paste on a much, much bigger scale. One is about building the foundation, and the other is about building the skyscraper on top of it.
And this is really the most important thing to get. This isn't a reactive strategy. We're not just looking back at what happened. This is a forward-looking playbook. By combining that targeted outreach with a replicable campaign model, the party is building a powerful engine designed to win the country's most important elections.
So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one big question. We've seen the blueprint. We've seen the two pillars. The question now is, will this strategy be the one that actually redefines India's entire political landscape for years, maybe even decades to come? That is what we'll all be watching.